Hey, what is going on, guys? Max Settings here, and welcome back to another review. In today's review, we are going to be taking a look at the Kinera Freya IEM. Now, before we get into today's review, I just have to give a big shout out to HifiGo Audio. HifiGo Audio is an online audio retailer that carries many different Chifi brands as well as a few others. And they were kind enough to send this over for review. So once again, big thanks to them for providing this for review. I will link their store in the description below. Okay, so I'm going to start off this review a little bit different than normal. Usually I don't take you through the unboxing experience, but on this particular item here, I thought it was worth showing because it is quite the unboxing experience. So you get this hexagonal box, and then you pop off the lid here and you're welcomed with some nice paperwork here explaining the IEM. And this one mentioning that it is hand painted because every single Freya is hand painted. So they will all be slightly different. And then you just get a few more other pieces of paperwork, and this is what you were greeted with. Now, as you can see, we have quite a few things here. So here are the IEMs themselves. You get a Lightning to 3.5 millimeter dongle, so you can plug it into your iPhone. You get 6 different tips here, a 1/4 inch adapter, and then a case here that contains the cable as well as a USB Type-C dongle if you're not an Apple user, and some final E-Series tips, which we'll talk about in just a second. And you also get a cleaning brush. So let me go ahead and pull all these things out off camera, and I will see you in just a sec. All right, so here we are with everything out of the box, and here is the Kinera Freya. And let's see. And as you can see here, there is the IEM up close. It is beautiful, beautiful IEM. These are all hand painted with some like gold flake inlay. It almost has like a little bit of like a pearlescent kind of opal tint to it, with little hints of black and white. There's another color that's like more white and pink, I believe, but this is the kind of blue and black color, which is the one that I much prefer. So this would be the one that I would go with. So as you can see, it is a beautiful, beautiful IEM. Now, while we're up close, I just wanted to talk about the shape and fit a little bit early here. So this to me looks like they literally just took a CIEM and then just adapted the nozzle to a universal, because this shape does not seem like a shape that you could derive naturally. This thing has like everything that a CIEM has. It has the little dimple right here because there's a little piece of your ear that you usually get impressed in a CIEM, and the shape is just so unnatural. I've never seen a universal IEM of this level of a complex shape. This is a shape that you only get from CIEM. So like I said, I'm fairly confident they took a CIEM and then just adapted the nozzle to be a universal, which actually is a good thing, as we'll talk about in the comfort section. So let's come back out and we will continue on with the review. Okay, so let's do specs real quick. I know it's a little bit later than I usually do them, but let's go ahead and get them out of the way. So the Freya is coming in at $250, which is actually very cheap for a hand-painted IEM. So they are a 22 ohm IEM with a sensitivity of 110 dB a milliwatt. They are using a 3 balanced armature, 1 dynamic driver setup with a frequency response of 20 to 20,000 hertz, and they use the 2-pin connector, which is my preferred IEM connector. Okay, so now back to the other accessories. You get this little carrying case, which looks nice. It kind of makes an annoying sound when you open it. It kind of makes this squeaky kind of sounds you can hear. Yeah, that's really annoying to me, but it's a nice looking case. It's hard, it has a little bit of a soft top. It says Kinera and has nice little artwork on it. So very nice case. Here are the 2 included dongles that you get, one Type-C, one Lightning, so all your devices should be covered. You get the white tips that I showed earlier, as well as some final E-Series tips, and a nice little cable here. It's just like a 2-strand braid with a little 2-pin connectors and a little carbon fiber 3.5 millimeter. This is a decent included stock cable. Not the best included stock cable I've ever seen, but certainly acceptable, and I don't really have many complaints about it. Now, one thing I wanted to mention real quick about the E-Series tips here is they include these tips as an alternate tip to their stock tips. And E-Series tips are usually pretty good. Sometimes they're hard to find an IM that they work with. But for whatever reason, they do not seem to fit the Freya. I kept putting them on and they just pop off by themselves. You just stick it on and they just boop, pop right off. And I don't know why. I got them stuck in my ear a few times, which was not fun. I had to use tweezers to get them out. So at least with my unit here, the E-Series tips do not seem to fit and they just fall off. So just something I thought I would note. Now moving into the build of the Freya, it is a plastic build all around, but like I already mentioned, it is beautiful, beautiful look here, as you can see, and once again hand painted. And yeah, it's very, very light. Weight should not be an issue for you, and it's just a plastic shell, but very, very beautiful in terms of the aesthetics. And as for comfort, I do find them very, very comfortable. Like I said, it looks like they basically just took a CIM and turned it into a universal, and it fits my ear quite well. And I think this should be a comfortable shape for most people. Okay, now moving into the sound of the Freya. So the Freya is kind of a harkening back to the good old days of Chifi. And this is just basically a classic generic Chifi V-shaped IEM. You basically just have a solid mid-bass hump of, I'd say, maybe 6 or 7 dB with very, very forward mid-bass and lower mids. And then you have that just kind of a recession there in that like 1 to 2K area. And then you kind of comes back up for a relatively inline upper mid region with, I'd say, a little bit recessed in your like lower mid treble, that like 6-7K, but then it has like a little bit of a treble peak in that like 9-10K area. So it's really just a very generic tuning, old school Chifi V shape. And I can't say I am a tremendous fan of how these are tuned. Now, as for other aspects of them, the detail is nothing special. For $250, I honestly want more. I think they're a little bit lacking in terms of detail. The bass is, I wouldn't say it's particularly great. It's very boosted, so you do get a sense of punch from that dynamic driver, but it's not particularly clean. It's a little bit muddy and just a little bit too boosted for my liking. Timbre is also not that great. This has pretty severe BA timbre in the treble and your upper mids. And the soundstage is nothing special. It's about average for an IEM. Imaging is also nothing special. I'd say average to slightly below average. And all in all, they are just kind of meh in my opinion. And I want to be completely honest, I've had these for a while. And just a little quick discussion here about what it's like being a reviewer. Honestly, the stuff that's the most interesting to review is the stuff that's either really, really good or really, really bad. Because the stuff that's really good, you know, you can just go ahead and it's great. You can make a great glowing review of it, and it's amazing. The stuff that's really, really bad can also be fun sometimes. It's not really fun when you have to listen to it for a couple hours to get impressions of it. But when you get to the review, you know, you can just hammer it real hard. Like, oh, yeah, this thing's so bad. Here's why. And, you know, you can go in on it. But the stuff that's like in the middle of just like incredibly mediocre is the most boring stuff to review. So frankly, I've been putting this one off for a while because these are just incredibly meh. Like, they're not blatantly terrible by any means. Like, they don't do anything egregious, but they are just incredibly generic and mediocre sounding. They are just like I said, a harkening back to the olden days of Chifi when everything was a generic V-shaped tuning, and that's essentially what this is. It is just a very, very generic sounding IEM to me, and personally, I cannot recommend it, which is very upset to me because, once again, it is beautiful, beautiful looking IEM. It really is an art piece. But unfortunately for me, the sound is not there. So unfortunately, I cannot recommend the Kinera Freya. But anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed my review of the Freya. Once again, links of where to buy these in the description below if you would like to give them a shot or check out something else from HifiGo Audio. And once again, thanks to them for providing the Freya for review. But anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this review. Look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye.